I remember when I was very young, a house that we lived in the UK, London, was far from the masjid. There was no way I could go to the masjid because my house, the place it was located, was far from the masjid. So the other salahs I could manage to pray in the masjid. Like I couldn't do that for Salatul Fajr and Salatul Isha, because in the UK, Salatul Fajr and Isha, sometimes it becomes very hard. Isha is at 9 o'clock and Fajr is very early sometimes. And I have no car to go. And the bus routes were very tricky to get to the masjid. And so one day I had read about how the Salaf used to pray Takbiratul Ihram for 40 years. They never used to miss Takbiratul Ihram. When I read it, I never forget that feeling. When I read those aqwal and I listened to the lecture and the speech regarding these issues, wallahi, that moment, I said to myself, I'm going to go. And I remember it was winter when I said that. So I used to wear my thobe, my jacket, my everything, and I used to walk to the masjid for 40 something minutes. So the topic I want to share with you today is actually a topic for me. It's a point of reflection for myself, something that I have been thinking about and reflecting on due to my own deficiencies and me not meeting the requirements and fulfilling what was upon me. So this is a benefit that really goes to me first. I don't want to be, as the poet said, someone who's not pious is commanding the people piety. The doctor is curing the people, he himself is what? Sick. The last few days, I haven't found the joy that I would normally find in my acts of worship, my ibadat and the things that I do. I've thought about what are the things that could cause it. Especially the leaving of the month of Ramadan. Our Iman was high, we benefited from that month, so much we achieved. And then Ramadan left, it left an empty hole in our hearts. And then from there onwards, things did not go accordingly. So this inshallah ta'ala is a topic that's for me, and I hope you should benefit from it all. May Allah make us from those people who hear the good speech and they act upon it. And I ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala that He forgives us for our mistakes and our shortcomings, our private wrongdoings and our public wrongdoings. And I ask Allah He does not hold me account to what the people think, and that He does not embarrass me and shame me the day in which I meet Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all of you. The topic that I want to talk about, my brothers and sisters, is finding happiness and comfort and joy in being connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a topic that, inshallah ta'ala, that we all need. My brothers and sisters, there are 3 things that you need if you want to have this quality. This is 3 things that we need to come with. Number 1, it's dawamud dhikri. Dawamud dhikri means that you remember Allah a lot. And we'll talk about that inshallah ta'ala. The second thing that you need if you want to achieve that happiness and that comfort and that joy when you worship Allah in the prayer, in act of ta'at and obedience, if you want to enjoy it and find comfort and ladha in it, the second thing that you need to come with is sidqul mahabba. You have to be truthful in your love, which we're going to talk about inshallah ta'ala. Sidqul mahabba, true love. What does that mean? We'll come to that inshallah ta'ala. And the third is ihsanul amal. Ihsanul amal means you perfect your actions. You do the best that you can. Anyone who comes with these 3, you will find joy. You will find happiness. You will find ladha, sweetness. You will find strength in the acts of worship that you do. Everything that's happening around you will not affect you in your ibadah. You will be like a boat, strong boat, in the middle of the ocean where the tide is coming from all directions, but that boat will sail through it. The water will never get into it. You will get to your destination. Even though the tide is up in the air, you're just sailing through it, because internally you're strong and you're built. If, my brothers and sisters, this is removed from you, or any one of those factors is taken from you, you find the acts of worship, the joy is gone, the ladha is gone. You do not feel sweetness in your heart. I read Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah. He went out one day, and he left his house. He went to a place where no one could see him. Ibn al-Qayyim said, I followed him. He's my teacher. So he said, I followed my teacher. Everyone else was not there, and I was the only one. I was watching him. When he came to an open land where there was nobody, no one could see Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah breathed, and then he said, I'm now leaving the houses and people's area residency. I've left everybody now. I'm talking to you now, O Allah, between me and you. Privately, he found, rahimahullah, his connection with Allah. No one could see him. One of the great A'imma of Al-Islam, he said, I traveled with Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Abdullah Mubarak, a great Imam. When I traveled with him, I wanted to know, he said, this man, why Abdullah ibn Mubarak passed everybody? Why everyone loved him? Why was he seen as Imam Abdullah ibn Mubarak? He said, I wanted to investigate. So he said, we traveled. We traveled and we went to a different city. One day he said, we were sitting. He said, when I saw him, his act of worship, his ibadat, it was normal. It was like the rest of us. He said, I didn't see anything which I could say to myself, this is the thing and why he is unique. This is the thing why he sticks out. I couldn't see any of that from him. Until one day, he said, we were sitting around a fire. And as we were sitting there, the fire extinguished. The light of the fire extinguished. The light is not there anymore. And as soon as that darkness hits, Abdullah ibn Mubarak started to cry. He said, of course we can't see because it's dark. He said, I only saw that when we found light again, fire. I looked at his face, his eyes were watering. And he said, I realized this man has something private, alone, that he doesn't show in public. His affairs privately, that when he saw the darkness, it reminded him of the grave, and he reminded him of that moment is when he's connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaykhul Islam, he's going out by himself for Sahara because he wants to be alone with his Creator. And he's calling onto his Lord and he's saying, I am here wanting to talk to you subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahi, that is happiness and that's joy that he rahimahullah found in it. Look what he said, Shaykhul Islam. There is no blessing that resembles the blessings of the hereafter. There is no blessing of this dunya that resembles the blessing of the hereafter except al-imanu billahi, believing in Allah and knowing Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a ni'mah wallah. Iman is a ni'mah wallah. That if Allah gives it subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no blessing and knowing your Creator. Look at us. When we lose somebody, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. If you mean that word when you say it, it's bardan wa salama. Your heart is comfort. And you know this person who you lost, your loved one here, is a Muslim. And inshallah ta'ala, he's going to go Jannah. He's a Muslim. Either ajilan or ajilan. Maybe straight away or finally. And he brings that comfort to you. The one who doesn't believe in Allah's existence, what does he reassure himself with? It's missing from him. And it's a joy in the heart. I told this story many times. But wallahi, it's a story worthy of mentioning it a lot. There was two men. One by the name of Abu Yusuf. And another one, his name was Ibrahim ibn Adham. The both of them were very poor men. They didn't have worldly possessions. The dunya was not in their hands. They were very, very poor men. They had nothing. So one day they managed to find bread. They were hungry. For days they didn't have anything to eat. They managed to find bread. But the bread that they received was very hard. It wasn't soft. And they didn't have soup or something to eat with it. And so the both of them, they said, let's go to the ocean. And let's take the bread that we have and dip it into the ocean. So they took the bread and they dipped it into the ocean so that the bread becomes soft. And then they started to both eat, dipping their what? Their bread into the water. And they're drinking, they're eating, and they're dipping in and they're eating. And one of them said to the other, if the kings and the children of the kings were to know the blessing that you and I have right now, if they knew the happiness and the blessing and the good that you and I both have, if they knew it, the kings and the children of the kings, if they knew it, they would have come from their palaces and they would have tried to take it away from us. These two individuals don't have anything, my brothers. They just managed to find those two breads. The reason why they have that feeling inside, Ibn Taymiyyah told us. He said, Inna fi dunya jannah. There's a Jannah in this dunya. What do you think of when you think of Jannah? What do you guys think of when you think Jannah? Happiness, joy, bliss, ni'am, great things that never stop. Ibn Taymiyyah is saying there's one like that in this world. There's a happiness in this world that there's no happiness like it. There's joy in this dunya that there's no joy like it. There's excitement and good in this dunya that there's no goodness like it. He said, Inna fi dunya jannah, man lam yadkhulha. Anyone who doesn't enter that jannah of the dunya, lam yadkhul jannat al-akhirah. He's not going to enter the jannah of the hereafter. When he was asked, what is it? He said, al-imanu billah. To believe in Allah is a Jannah, it's a joy. A lot of you here, maybe you're not feeling that right now. But remember when you first started to seek knowledge. I remember when I was very young, a house that we lived in the UK, London, was far from the masjid. There was no way I could go to the masjid because my house, the place it was located, was far from the masjid. So the other salahs I could manage to pray in the masjid. Like I couldn't do that for Salatul Fajr and Salatul Isha. Because in the UK, Salatul Fajr and Isha, sometimes it becomes very hard. Isha is at 9 o'clock and Fajr is very early sometimes. And I have no car to go. And the bus routes were very tricky to get to the masjid. And so one day I had read about how the Salaf used to pray Takbiratul Ihram for 40 years. They never used to miss Takbiratul Ihram. When I read it, I never forget that feeling. When I read those aqwal and I listened to the lecture and the speech regarding these issues, wallahi, that moment, I said to myself, I'm going to go. And I remember it was winter when I said that. So I used to wear my thobe, my jacket, my everything, and I used to walk to the masjid for 40 something minutes. So 1 hour something, before that I would leave and I'll start walking. I never used to feel it. That is what is called what? Ladha, joy. I used to enjoy it. In the meantime, I don't know if you guys, those Walkman cassettes, I used to listen to it, put it in my pocket, put it in, and I'd listen to it going to the masjid and coming back. That is something, if fast forward, maybe I'm most likely not going to do that now. What happened? You see, that it wears out. The Iman, what happens? It wears out just like the clothes wears out. And the joy that those days I had, knowing that I just prayed in the masjid and I used to come back home, it's a ladha, no ladha like it. And every one of you I know can say the same thing. That is something we need to yearn for. That's something we need to look for. Where is it? Where is it gone? Why do we not have this? And I've also mentioned this story before. When this happens to us, we need to do something about it. We should not ignore it. When we see ourselves going down, it's not right for you to ignore it and let it get worse and worse and worse. Ibn Sa'ad mentions in his Tabaqat, and I've mentioned this story a few times, a great Imam by the name of Maymun ibn Mihran. Now Maymun, he used to write for Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. He was like the right hand man of who? Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. And you all know who Umar ibn Abdul Aziz is, rahimahullah ta'ala. So Maymun was a writer for him, that he would write for him the letters and the notes. And Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was known, he only used to bring close to himself righteous, noble people. Maymun, he lost his eyesight, he'd become a very old man. So he called his son and he said, Dad, I want you to take me to Hassan al-Basri. I want to go to Hassan al-Basri. Why? Because I find in my heart deterioration. My Iman has gone low, it's dipped. My heart is not like it used to be. And I need to go to Hassan al-Basri. I need to talk to him. So he's blind, so his son grabbed him by the hand and he said, okay, Dad, I will take you. And he took his father by the hand and he brought him to the house of Hassan al-Basri. They knocked the door, and when they knocked the door, the servant of Hassan al-Basri, she opened the door. She said, who's there? And he said, it's Maymun. I want to see Hassan. She said to him, oh, you evil man, why are you alive at this evil time? So he started to cry even more. He's crying, brought Hassan al-Basri out of his room. Before we move on into the story, look how, number one, he recognized his heart and his Iman deteriorated. Number two, look how soft his heart is. He's crying from what the maid and the servant is saying. His heart is not dead, so still alive. He's affected by what she's saying. So he goes into the room. Hassan al-Basri sits him down. He said, what has brought you? He said, I've come because my Iman has deteriorated. My heart, Iman has gone slightly down. I'm not like I used to be. That's what the ulama do. That's what the real Muslim does. When he realizes his Iman dips a little bit, he goes and he looks for something to cure this problem. Don't ignore it. If you ignore it, it will destroy you. If our hearts become sick, we cure it with the remembrance and the studying of the lives of the great Imams. And when we read it, we get better. We get better and we are now able to go forward. When he said this to Hassan al-Basri, that my Iman is deteriorated and it's gone down, what can you advise me? Tell me something. Hassan al-Basri rahimahullah, he said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أفرأيت إن متعناهم سنين ثم جاءهم ما كانوا يوعدون ما أغنى عنهم ما كانوا يمتعون. He read those 3 verses for him. What does it mean? It means أفرأيت إن متعناهم سنين. What about if we give them joy for a period of time? We let them enjoy themselves in this world. We let them have fun. We let them do what they want. Sineen for years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years. Enjoy yourself in the world. And then it comes to them that which they were promised. The promise of Allah comes. Death, the inevitable thing comes. When that time comes, the things that they were enjoying themselves and they were indulged in will not stop them from the thing that Allah has planned for them. Those are powerful verses. As soon as those verses was read, Maymun ibn Mihran, ughshiya alayhi, he fainted. He realized those verses, what they really mean. The Quran affects the mountains, brothers, and it doesn't affect our hearts. So when he fainted, he got up. Hassan al-Basri said, that's all I could say to you. And then he left. His son said to him, Dad, was that man that we just met, the son of Maymun ibn Mihran, said to his father Maymun, he said, was that person that we just spoke to Hassan? He said, yes. لأن Hassan al-Basri was loved and appreciated. He said, was that him? He said, yes. He said, what did he do? Why did he not say to you other things? And Hassan's words were like quotes, even at his own time. Some of the great scholars, they said about him, his speech, Hassan al-Basri, resembles the speeches of the prophets. I encourage you after today. There's a kitab written by Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah about Hassan al-Basri, his life and his words. And it's actually translated in English. I think it's called The Beacon of Basra. You can download it as a PDF if it's online. If it's not, then buy the book. It's translated in English. It's his life. It's his, rahimahullah ta'ala, his quotes and statements that he has said, rahimahullah ta'ala. So he said, Dad, is that who he was? Was that Hassan al-Basri? He didn't say anything to you. And he said, Wallahi, my son, he has said words that if you truly knew what it was, they would have affected you.